What's going on, everyone? I'm Travis Brown with the Eagle. I'm next to A&M punter Nik Constantinou, and it's time for a weekly pop quiz. Nik, how's it going? How is the beginning of the season shaped up for you personally?
It's gone good so far. You know, we've just got to keep building from each and every week, which is a good thing. But you know, we obviously didn't get the result we wanted last week, but it's we'll definitely shift that and move forward from there.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about football. Let's talk about Australia.
Let's do it.
Because you're from Australia.
Yeah.
How does someone from Australia land in College Station, Texas?
Honestly, I don't even know the answer to that question too. But I know I joined this program called Pro Kick Australia back at home. It's run by Nathan Chapman and John Smith. They sort of introduced me to college football, taught me everything that's about, that comes with it, and sort of, made me grow to love the sport. So through that, I ended up coming up to A&M, which I was fortunate enough, and the rest is history from there.
So you grew up playing Aussie rules football?
Yes, that's correct.
I know, well, actually, when the pandemic started, I think everyone was watching Aussie rules football because that's the only thing that was on there for a while. But and I know kind of forward passes are done by punts.
Yep.
Roughly. I know I'm being a little general here. What parts of that game translate so easily into being a punter in American football?
It's not too much because the kicking technique is a lot different. But in saying that, with college football, the rollout punch you see now from a lot of punters comes from Australian rules football because we're on the move when we kick. So having the ability to change up the style of punt for college has been a really big asset to the game, and it sort of tricks a lot of opponents because they don't know what type of punt's going to come out. So that style of punt is really coming to play.
But in Australian rules football, it's not like American football where you're just the punter and you get to go out there and kick. Like you're a part of the physicality. You're part of the game. What was that like for you? What role did you have into that?
Yeah, so there's essentially, to cut it short, there's forwards, midfielders, and defenders. I was a forward, which means my main role is to kick, goals in Australian rules football. So it's more, you're always in the field type of thing. You're not just coming out for a punt and then going back off. So it's more physical. It's more, cardiovascular demanding. But yeah, that's really the main difference, is that I'm always on there trying to kick goals for my team to succeed in that way.
Favorite? Do you have a memory of your favorite point you scored? Is it okay? I know. I'm going to get all mixed up here. Is it a try?
It's a goal.
It's a goal.
Yeah, it's a goal.
It's
so
a goal.
We have a goal
Try
and
is
a
rugby.
point. Try is rugby.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Probably one of the favourite ones, I'd say, we call it a grand final, which is sort of like the equivalent of a playoff
epic.
or a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you call it a grand final. One of the goals in the grand final was to seal the win when I was in a junior. So that was probably my best memory for that.
So when you first get to College Station and you're living here, what was the biggest culture shock? Because I think Australia and Texas, in some ways, there's some similarities.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just getting acclimated to the humidity. I came in the fall of 2019, so there's no humidity in Australia. It's all like a dry heat. So coming off the plane, it was actually winter time in Australia. So coming off the plane to just straight 90% humidity was something to get used to. And then essentially also learning the sport of football in America. I didn't really know too much about it when I got up here. So the first half of that year was me just learning the sport. So those two were the biggest, acclimating periods.
So then we'll have to back up here. When you're a part of this kind of academy or that teaches you about American football, I mean, was it just teaching you a little bit more of the mechanics of punting and the rules? Did you not really play a whole lot of American football before coming up here?
No, I played zero American football.
Wow.
I didn't even know what a punter was when I joined the program. So it was very raw, but they essentially, in all aspects possible, teach you what comes along with that. And we obviously can't replicate 100,000 people in a stadium, but we can replicate, the helmets, the pads, we can get crowd noise through speakers, but they try and teach you all facets of the game and what's involved with it.
Sure. So when you look at somebody like Jordan, your fellow Aussie who's up here, is there other teams, academies, clubs down there that do play?
I think there are some academies down there. I'm not too aware of which specific ones, but I have heard. I think Moko went through one maybe in Australia, then he came up to the States before COVID hit, but I have heard of some academies that do that.
So I mentioned it earlier. In what ways is Australia and Texas kind of similar?
Honestly, it's very flat. Australia is very flat like that. The weather's bipolar. It could be sunny in Australia and then raining at the same time. It's kind of like Texas. The sun will be out and next second there's a dark cloud coming over with lightning. So it's pretty similar in that sense. And yeah, I think they're the two main ones, to be honest. But.
Yeah, so we talked to Connor Choate the first week. He did a lot of trash talking. He did say that the most interesting thing about you and your culture was that you called McDonald's
Macca's.
Isn't there some other fast food chains that we have here in America that are different names down there? Like what What are some of those interesting tidbits that you can share with us?
I'm not sure about fast food chains, but I can tell you like sweatpants we call trackies.
Okay.
For like tracksuit pants.
Yeah.
So we essentially, Australians just cut everything short because we're lazy. We don't like to say the full word, so we just cut everything short. So yeah, trackies, Maccas, I can't even think of fast food on top of my head, but
Okay, then maybe I'm crazy here, and this is like just me riffing on my own that we might even cut this out of the video. Isn't like Burger King called like Hungry Jacks?
Oh, Hungry Jacks, yeah, that's the equivalent.
That one blew my mind when I was watching Aussie Rules
Yeah,
football.
yeah.
I'm like, that's the Burger King
Jacks.
logo, but anyway.
Actually, that's one too, yeah.
Yeah. So you get up here. What is the thing that surprised you the most about American football, or that you've really grasped onto the most?
I think, obviously, I put aside the physicality and all that, it's just the technical aspect of American football. When I soon realized that every play has 10,000 different options you can choose from, and like situations, and coaches try and get, I know Coach Fisher, whenever he calls a play, he tries to make sure that there's not, a single answer that the opposition can have against that play. So like that type of aspect of the sport is something that it's very unique that I've never actually experienced. Australian rules football it's technical, but it's like nowhere near as technical as American football. So that part of the sport was very interesting for me.
Okay, other than being Australian and playing football, what are some of your other hobbies? What do you like to do? Who is you as a person?
I'm a pretty boring guy, to be honest. I don't do too much. I enjoy fishing when I get the opportunity. When I came up to Texas, I shot a gun in Australia, but I really shot like an AR-15 up in here when I was here just to see how that was, that was a thrilling experience. But I mean, not too much fish. Yeah, as I said, fishing. I used to play video games, not so much now because school's sort of in the way, but that's about it, really, too much, yeah.
Yeah, what are you studying in school?
I'm in my master's program now with kinesiology.
Gotcha. So, I know there was a lot of guys in here that play video games. Was Madden ever one of those? Does that help you get into the football at all?
It didn't really. I was more of a, FIFA, Call of Duty type guy. I played Fortnite here and there, but yeah, Madden was never really in it for me, but.
Okay, and in Australia, it's Aussie Rules football is soccer?
Soccer, yeah, soccer's one. We're the same in that sense, but we call it Australian Rules football and then soccer, which is the soccer in America.
Right. Are you into, was it the A-League down there? Or?
Yes, it's the A-League. I'm not really into it. I used to play soccer before Aussie Rules football. I stopped that around when I was 10 years old. I support Manchester United. Nothing like too crazy into it, but
I'm a Leeds guy. I don't know if this interview. Okay, we'll put it aside. We'll put it aside. So, what for you? Moving on forward here, what is a successful season for you personally, and what do you think is a successful season for the team from where y'all are now moving forward?
I think for me, it's just making sure that I can deliver each and every game, making sure that it's not so much what my averages are, it's more so the average is right for the team for that specific game. If I can perform each and every time, then they'll just set me up to a successful season ahead and a successful future ahead. And for the team, it's just making sure that we're consistent in practice, and then we can just perform each and every week and stack wins on top of wins.
So two more, and these go back again to we're gonna fire back at Connor Choate here a little bit. First, let's just start with him. He was talking about your Mackers and all your Australian.
Yeah.
What is one thing that we don't know about Connor Choate that is absolutely hysterical?
Oh, God, I think you probably know everything about Connor Choate. He's a very open human being, which is why he's great. But you probably already know this, but he always has a joke to whatever you say. He can never take something serious. He's always got to fire back with something, and that's what makes him special. We love Choate for that. So. Gotcha.
Does any go-to jokes, any catchphrases, anything that can be said on the camera right now, or do we need to put the fifth on that one?
Yeah, we might need to cut it off.
Okay. And then the second thing he fired back at is that we asked him about Theo Mellanolstrom, the Swedish tight end that came in for A&M, and he said that y'all were kind of really hurt that y'all weren't the only. Foreign
Foreigners.
Players. What's it like getting with Theo and
Yeah, it was a bit rough at the start. We wanted to be the only Australians and foreigners in the team, but he's really good. I think he's adapted well. It's always hard coming from a different place, especially a different country. So I think he's going to be stacking on the days, and he's looking really good. So.
And then how many people around campus, when they know who you are and see you, just want to hear you talk? Just say
a lot.
Talk.
Yeah, a lot.
Just say something to me.
That's exactly what they say. Just speak to me. I don't know what to say to them, but half the time no one can understand me because I pronounce words differently. So it's tough. But yeah, a lot of people do say that.
Well, y'all shorten everything, and in Texas we just cut the last two letters off the end of it, so it works out. Hey Nik, thanks so much.
Thanks very much.
You passed the
Appreciate
pop quiz. Be sure to check theeagle.com for all of our content leading up to the game this weekend, and another pop quiz next week.